that's what you don't want to do. Check the tide times first, like we did. So first one's over. So at the holy island of Lindisfarne today, and we've got till 5 o'clock before the tide comes back in, and it's unsafe to cross. So after that, if you're still here, you're stuck here all night. So I had a very pleasant 2-night stay, or I should say we had a very pleasant 2-night stay here. 3 years ago, my brother actually bought us 2 nights here for my birthday. I won't say which one, but we really had a good time. The only strange thing is, on a night time, and the tide comes in over the causeway, so basically you're trapped here. And we went out for a walk, and we walked around in the night time. There wasn't a soul about. A glorious summer night, there wasn't a soul wandering about, and it was so strange. It was like one of them horror films. A really nice place to come for a visit if you've never been. The ruins of the old abbey, got the castle, and you've got a couple of really secret hidden beaches that not many people know about. So the beauty about coming down here early, or even stopping over here, is there's nobody about yet. Basically what we're going to do is have a little sit down here first, and then we're going to have a wander around. Maybe it's the abbey, the church, and the little village centre itself. And then when the crowds start to come in, we'll head off to secret bays that not many people know about. The only footprints on the sand are the ones that we've created. And now we're along the beach as far as the eye can see. Not one footprint. Footprints there are mine. So they're nice and quiet. Just how Mrs. Metalman likes it. But like I mentioned before, you've got to watch the tide times coming over here. Every year there's always somebody, at least one, stuck in the middle of the causeway, tied in, them stood on the roofs, waiting for either the helicopter or the lifeboat to come and rescue them. We've got the church there next to the ruins of the abbey, or the priory in Lindisfarne, and that was the first place the Vikings actually landed in about 700 and whatever. A couple of years ago when we were here, I walked to the top of that vantage point over there. It was early morning, not a soul about, and as I was looking down the abbey, all of a sudden my heart jumped in my mouth when I saw a figure of a monk walking out of one side of the abbey and walking into the other side of the abbey. Now I did catch it on film. Whether I've still got that video clip, I don't know. I'll try and find it. But that gave me the biggest shock of my life. Distance you should be able to see Lindisfarne Castle, which has just had a bit of a renovation. Have a little walk inside the church. Should be open. A lovely view of the abbey there, the castle, and Mrs. Metalman. Say there's not a great deal left of the priory there now. It is just a ruin, but at one time a very thriving place that come to a sticky end for the monks that were here when the Vikings first raided. And last time we stopped here, we had a very pleasant meal in there, as I remember. Night time, I think you've got two pubs, two places to eat. So if you stop here and you don't get booked into one of them, basically you go hungry. So one of the few bed and breakfasts here. Got the other pub over there. Food serves 6 till 7:30. If you go in at 25 to 8, you won't get served. There's a castle there of Holy Island. If you ever take the train up to Edinburgh, you get a fantastic view of it on the East Coast main line. Between the trees and the mast of them ships, you can see Bamborough Castle. Now that is an impressive sight and well worth a visit. We had a very pleasant stay last night at the Bluebell Inn in Belford. Mrs. Metalman, who didn't have the best night's sleep last night. Unfortunately, I told her of the story of the mad monk of Belford. So after that, she insisted on sleeping with the light on all night. I tried my best to sleep. Woke up God knows how many times in the middle of the night. Every time I woke up, the light was still on, and Mrs. Metalman was sound as a top. So when I eventually did wake up this morning, I said to her, "Did you have a good night's sleep?" I never slept a wink all night because of you. She's enjoying herself now. 10 minutes. We should be down in the first little cove. She's loving it. I'm just following my nose to the coast. We'll head over to this, the first of these hidden coves. And this is the best beach, the best cove. And unbelievably, there's two people down there on my private beach. I'll have to go over there, give them a bloody good bollocking. This is purely reserved for me and Mrs. Metalman. So there we've got the North Sea, and in the distance we'll have Denmark, Sweden, Norway, where the Vikings came over, and no wonder they kept coming over again and again and again when they took one look at this glorious Northumberland coastline. It's absolutely superb. And apart from a couple of interlopers, only me and Mrs. Metalman here. So we've got the whole beach to ourselves. So we're going to have a nice romantic walk along this deserted beach. Mrs. Metalman's wanting to sit down. She's getting a bit tired. Well, it's happened again. Flat battery. The second I said a flat battery, Mrs. Metalman, quick as a flash, stripped off and straight down to that sea, skinny dipping. Because I was shaking so much with excitement. By the time I got the battery in, she was back up here, and I'll tell you something, what a magnificent sight it was to see. Oh. So our passports ran out about 4 years ago. If you get the weather in the UK and you've got places and views like this, sometimes I think to myself, why on earth do I want to go abroad when this is on my doorstep? Not a person apart from me and Mrs. Metalman. I have to complain all day yesterday about not bringing me shorts. Mrs. Metalman said, why don't you unzip them, because they're them type of trousers that unzip. After Mrs. Metalman's skinny dip, I'm going to have to go in myself, so I'm going in for a quick swim. That's where we've come from, the rocky bay, and then further on over there, the gorgeous sandy bay. So this is the third hidden bay on Holy Island, And a good point of reference, I don't know if you can see it on the corner there, is that, as Mrs. Metalman calls it, that white pointy thing, which is a bit of a point of reference. And apart from a couple of people over there with a dog, only me and Mrs. Metalman here. So you have got the 3 beaches down here, but all of them very, very secluded. Handful of people on each one, and to be quite honest, last couple of times we've been here, we've been on all 3 beaches and never saw a soul. So there's been a few people down here this morning, but the good thing is there's nobody down here now. And I say we were here March a few years ago, stopped for a few nights, and to be honest we had the similar sort of weather. The sun was out, blue sky was out, the wind was up then, and I tell you something, off that North Sea it was absolutely Baltic. It looked nice, but by God it was cold. Today, unbelievable. I know I keep rabbiting on about this weather, but I've never known weather like it in February in the UK. It's absolutely sensational. Yesterday when we went down at Embleton Bay, just past Dunsonbury Castle, we came across a seal who was having a nice little snooze on the beach. See what I can see today. But I'll tell you something, the water here is crystal clear. It looks so inviting.